Cue the music.
Morning. I don't know if it's morning where you are while you're watching this. I don't know. It's morning here because I do this stuff in the mornings because I'm just so much more personable first thing in the day when I first wake up before I've had a chance to see what life has to offer today. Morning. Again, I don't know what you're doing. Is it morning where you are? I have no idea what you're doing. What are you pooping? I don't know what you're doing while you're watching this. Doesn't matter. Here, let me show you something. I don't know if you know this or not. I hope maybe you know this. Maybe you know more than I do. I hope you know more than I do. Look at this here now. Down Periscope. So, well, that's what I just done. So what I got, here, where's some good ones? There's some good ones on the bottom. You see these little dots here? Where's my finger? It's hard to point at something when I'm looking at the screen. Let me just look at my finger. There, you see these? Those are little rust spots. They're all over this door where it had rock chips, and then you got little surface rust spots. Now, I don't need those. I need these though. So these little spots like this here, like I said, they're all over the door. There's some here, they're up there, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're little rust. It's surface rust. Now, the biggest you can see here, I sandblasted this because it was a little heavier, and it was, can you see over here? A little heavier there, heavier here, there. Actually, this was really bad, really deep. It's where the molding was, hey? And it rubbed on it, so it made a surface rust line there. So I done this with my little blaster, but you don't want to blast everywhere, right? Because now there's a little bump there. This one here, there's a ridge there now. The same with this one back here, there's a ridge there. So now if you go in and go, and you start blasting all this stuff, well, what are you going to do with that now? Because now your door is cottage cheese, it's a bowl of oatmeal. I mean, you're going to have a little hump everywhere that you blasted. Because that's what it does to it. Don't ask me the physics of it. That's what it does to it. And on top of all them little humps, well, your pimple is still full of rust pits. So you still got to fill them rust pits up with something, right? Because, I mean, you took the rust out of there. Now there's pits. You got to put some filler in there to clean that up. Plus, you got a bump on there now. So what are you going to do with it? So I don't do that. I've done that in the past many, many years ago, and it was a bummer. You wind up trying to sink them, whatever, hammering and dollying, kinking and whacking. You just wind up with a mess by the time you're done. You know what I'm saying to you? And it winds up being a whole bunch of more work, and it just ain't worth it in the long run. So what I do now, because the pits aren't real deep, so I got my little $7 grinder with a little cutoff wheel. I'm gonna get with this business here. And that's why I wear these. Because I can get right in there and I can look at it and I can see. So now that makes it quite shiny in compared to the rest of it. So you can really see the black in the bottom. And yeah, it's a little bit time consuming, but what else are you going to do? This is quicker, because I've done it both ways, than going in, pardon me, than going in and wrecking, taking your whole door and bitching the whole thing up, and then having to... and then I'll come back over. I guess I'll quit talking while I'm grinding because you can't hear me talking, can you? So then what I'll do is I'll come back over with a little bit of filler. And all this kind of stuff, like these little bits here, well, I'll just go over that and machine sand it with a sander until I could probably show you, I don't know. And actually, it's not all that bad. Like I'll do this down here, and then the spot's up there, and I'll bet you I'll have 10, 15 minutes. Where are you? Are you down there? I'll have 10, 15 minutes involved in killing all those. And then the putty work and the sander, I don't know, half an hour I'll have, maybe a little better, in cleaning up all these rust pits, but they'll be gone. Because I'm effectively doing the same thing. I mean, when you're sandblasting, you're just digging the rust out of the bottoms of the pits. Well, I'm doing the same thing because here, like if you're thinking, well, you're cleaning the metal out of there and causing a depression where you're grinding, well, your pit's already did. And I mean, you don't just keep grinding and grinding and grinding. You go until the black spot's gone. I'll bet you my pit there, it ain't no deeper than the pit in there. Right? You think? Or what? That's what I do. I don't know. Like I said, if you're smarter than me, then let me know what else I should be doing. So one of the benefits to cleaning your rust pits out that way is you can see I did that all over this door. Are you with me? I got a helmet on. I can't even see if you're with me or not. Are you still behind me? Are you with me? Are you for me? Or are you against me? What's going on? Or anyways, doesn't matter. So you can see I done that all over here. Now, I had a few of these spots in this corner, and when I gave them a little grind like that, just that quick little bit, it turned blue, right? Well, I mean, I guess you don't know if that's right or not because I'm telling you the story. But in this corner, when I did my little mark like that, my little mark turned blue. That says it's very thin because it turned. Get that off, would you? Can you still hear me? Oh, holy jumping jihad. Who's in charge of this production? So it turned blue on account, ooh, that's warm, on account of it was so thin. So that tells me that we're really sacrificed back in there. So I cut a little hunk out. Well, when it turned blue, first thing I did was I took a hammer and I went bang. And I blew a little hole through it. Now bear in mind, it was just one of them little black spots on a steel panel. But it was so thin back there that there wasn't even that much metal left. Wouldn't have known that unless I went in to do that. Like, is that vague enough for you? Unless I would have ground that, I would have had no idea how thin it was on this corner because it still looked good. I mean, the doors are pretty good the whole way over. I mean, the insides are really good. Everything's really good. I had no idea that it was that thin. The piece is on the floor, but I ain't going to bend down to get it because I'll probably fart. Nobody needs that. So anyways, if I wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't be doing this. Well, I might be, because in the past, I've learned that these doors like this, it's because of the way the inner door jamb is here, that they collect a lot of shit in these corners, this corner and the front corner. So, and I mean, most vehicles are the same way. So you're probably going to have to do some body work on the door anyways. Put some dents in it. Take a hammer and whack it a little bit and see how thin it is. If it dents really easy, like you're whacking a Coors Light can or a piece of tin foil, well, it's a Coors Light can or a piece of tin foil. So you're going to have to cut it out, and because could do all this, could paint all this, put the whole truck together because this corner looks like this here, right? It's not rusty. There's no rust there. Do it all, paint the truck, put it all together. 7 months later, he phones me and says, hey, my truck's bubbling in the corners of the doors. And I mean, I just paid you to restore this damn thing and I got rust bubbles down there. Well, the only thing I could say to him is go back to your pictures and have a look. There was no rust in the bottom corners of those doors. So it was already in there. It was already on the inside. It was hiding. And it was that close to coming through. The reason I can have this conversation is because it's happened to me before on a car that had rust-free quarters, painted it, and it was probably, I don't even know how long it was. It was over a year. Doesn't matter though, because it was only a year, and he got bubbles above the wheels on both quarters. And all I could say to him is that I didn't do quarter work on it. If you want to put quarters on it, we can put quarters on it, but I had no idea the rest was back there and it was coming through. So it just kind of goes, you know? You know something I'm finding kind of kind of entertaining these days. These days, being in, these days. There's been, it's only been a couple of years. See, it's morning. I got coffee going on here. So it's only been the last couple of 2 or 3 years. I don't know, whatever. We'll ballpark it at that. That there's been the big, what do you call it? Influx? It's not an influx. It's a fad. I don't know if it's a fad. What is it? What do you call it? A fad? An influx? When a whole bunch of people jump on a bandwagon and start doing the same thing? Of all these guys taking some hunk of shit car that should probably be scrapped. Will it run? Will it run and drive? Can I make it home? And so they do that, and they butcher the thing up, and then they take it home, and then they spend a while. There's a few channels that do the same thing, and I'm not going to name any. So the interesting thing now is now that they still do that, but now they're moving on to will it survive a 1,000-mile road, a 2,000-mile road, a 8,000-mile road trip? So they take this hunk of shit on a road trip, and the whole time that they've been working on it, if you watch their videos, a lot of times they ain't doing nothing good. And you can forecast, you can look at it and go, what the hell? Why would you do that? Just do it right. Why would you put a hunk of brake line in instead of changing the whole brake line? Because there's a brake line rotted out in that area there. You don't think it's rusty anywhere else? That's it. And while they're making their videos, it's, well, you got to keep it on the cheap. And the best slogan is, and actually he's made t-shirts and everything on it that says, don't get it right, just get it running. Okay, so you just got it running, but you didn't get it right. Now you're making a video of going on a road trip. Now you're on the side of the road and you're changing axle bearings in the back, or you're changing front wheel bearings, or you're changing you got to pull a torque converter out of it or something because you did something stupid and it's hunk shit and you didn't really make it any better. You just did what you needed to do to get your rich views on your video, and now you're trying to get it out on the road, and now I guess you're getting the views on the video again on account of now it's a roadside repair. And you got your ass in the corner or something. You got a pine cone up your ass now is what you got, because now you're 1,000 miles from home. You're on the side of the road, and now you're doing something stupid all over again. It's kind of, I guess the entertainment value for what they're trying to do is still there, I suppose. Because, the whole thing was about, am I still on? The whole thing was about making a video and getting people to watch it and getting views anyways, and they're still getting it. But it just, I don't know what it is. I'm old, and that kind of stuff just kind of bugs me a little bit. I just look at it and I just think, I don't know what I think. It's all very unfortunate. On the one hand, in the back of your mind, you think, well, it serves you right. You should have fixed the thing right in the first place, you dink. Otherwise, you wouldn't be showing up at your hotel room at 1:45 in the morning. You'd show up at your hotel room at 4:00 in the afternoon, and you could take your little wifey out for supper, and you could have a nice day out of it instead of hoping that somebody doesn't snap your ankles off on the side of an interstate highway while you're laying in the shoulder with your feet hanging out trying to fix something underneath your car because you just butchered the thing up in the first place 2 months ago, and now you're trying to road trip in a hunk of shit. Not to mention, what if something comes flying off the thing that you held on there with 3 zip ties and a hunk of haywire, and it comes flying off and goes through somebody's windshield on the highway? I guess the bottom line is I just don't think that it's a good trend. There's other guys that do that stuff, channels that oh, there's a sketchy. Oh, and there's fatty cakes. They just don't get along, and it's too bad. They're sisters. They should have each other's back, but they don't. But they kick each other's ass is what they do. What was I saying? Oh yeah, no, there is other channels where they do stuff and they do make it right, and then you do see them going on the road trip and stuff, and then when they're meeting up in the morning, and the dude who fixed his car right, he's all happy because last night he went out and he had a nice dinner and a couple of beers with his wife, and he met up with some guys and they'd done some burnouts, and it was a good night. The other guy, while you were doing that, I was laying on the side of the road haywiring my muffler up again because that's all I did in the first place, or I was whatever that I didn't do worth a shit when I built my car, and now I'm not fixing it worth a shit on the side of the road till 1 o'clock in the morning while you were having a good time. I just don't get it. I just ain't feeling it. I'm not smelling what they're stepping in, you know? Well, I don't know. I think that's all I got. I don't got nothing magical. I'm going to grind some more rust pits out of here. I'm going to referee between a couple of felines, and I'm going to go over there and put a few more welds on that. Now I'm going to do, actually, these doors, they're pretty good. There's only a couple of dents. You can see I got that ground there, and I got a little bit ground up here and thing down here, because I've already done the metal work on them, rough the dents out. So, I mean, because through the centers of these doors, like, this is a pretty good truck. I don't got a bunch of work. I'm going to have a bunch of little spots to fill, but that's no big whoop-de-doo. But anyways, I guess if you didn't know that, you just grind that out as opposed to blasting all them spots, because if you blast it, it's, like I said, it's just going to make a mess. So this is what I do. If you got something better, and I know you could probably spray acid on it and rinse the acid and everything else, but I don't do acid. You know what I'm saying? It's not Woodstock. It ain't the 60s. Well, yeah, I think that's it. So if you're watching to this point, thanks for watching, and I guess we'll smell you later.